Welcome to Mahler Mondays, episode 3. In the first 2 weeks, we looked at the main themes of this movement, and let's review them quickly before going on. Here's the first one. And then Mahler poses a question and uses a couple of these ideas from the main theme. First, there's the pickup idea, and then the dotted figure. And then he answers his question in the horn with his triplet idea. The next large section we have is called the development. And in the development, what Mahler will do is chop up his themes from the exposition, as we call it. For example, this idea of the dotted figure, this is going to happen all throughout this middle section. Whenever we go to it, I'll point them out. He also uses this triplet idea as well. So we'll hear this dotted idea. We'll also hear. And then I want you to take a look. This almost seems like a throwaway end of the phrase the first few times we heard it. There's 6/16 notes at the end of a measure. The first time it sounded like this. The next time it sounded like this. And then finally it sounded like this. It seems very insignificant at first, but this is going to play a very prominent part in the development. So I'm going to box this 6/16 note figure, especially the one that comes up and goes down. As we watch and listen to the Vienna Philharmonic begin this development section, you're going to hear several themes in quick succession. First of all, you're going to hear the solo violin take up this dotted figure idea. Next, you're going to hear the horn do the same idea, but in reverse. It will come down in dotted figures. Next, you're going to hear the flute with this triplet figure. You'll next hear the horn play this triplet figure as well, followed by the first violin with this 6/16 note figure. I'll point them out as they happen. Here's the violin with the dotted figure. Here comes the horn. Finally, the flute. Now the horn. The horn and violin. We can take a look at the full score for what just happened. Now, it's not important to see every note, but as I just glanced through, it's almost like every single measure has multiple themes from this exposition. He's just chopped them up, and he has distorted them sometimes. Sometimes they get their full thematic presentation, but other times they're almost unrecognizable. Before we move on, I want to go ahead and box these 3 pickup notes because this is going to be important in the next section, followed by this descending 6th figure. So here's the pickup notes, and here's the descending figure. You're going to hear distortion of the main theme, variation, then you'll hear the triplet figure with the clarinet and bassoon, and now these pickup notes over and over again, and finally, this descending motive. And the horns just did the descending motive. Mahler's development section here is kind of like a dream. We heard in the exposition the main themes that were presented, and it's now we're kind of asleep, and our brain is doing strange things to these themes. They're being distorted, they're being fragmented, sometimes they're almost unrecognizable. But that's one of the fascinating things as you listen to this development. you will be able to hear many of these themes that we looked at. You're going to hear all kinds of other themes as well from the exposition. And then finally, towards the end of the development section, we're going to hear this next section. After the instability of several minutes in the development section, we finally reach this music which sounds triumphant with the brass and the trumpet. And this leads to what my music history professor has termed the apotheosis, the climax of the entire movement, right here. After this apotheosis, the music collapses. Instability returns, and the development section finally comes to an end.